his man down, now faces up, whips it right. Williams lofts up a three and buries it right side. 74-72. Pack up with 2.5 to play in OT. Williams at the right now for the Pack. Hunter's on him with 4 fouls. 15 to shoot. Drives, basket, feeds, Lubin, hammer time in OT. 76-72 Pack. 68 seconds to play.
Told you. Told you. Of course, we needed overtime to get to the over. But we'll take it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how. Just matters what. It's the Adam Gold Show. What's up? Bracing for the great toilet paper shortage of 2026. I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria. We are here on YouTube live every day. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. You can watch the show. It's always much more fun to watch. So,
yeah, then you could see my festive dress.
You have a festive dress? Why didn't I notice this?
It's got snowflakes on it.
Oh, look, I know. I could tell.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I know. I'm going to take this off. It's really warm, this vest thing. But
look,
yeah, it's got snowflakes on it.
I'm just very aware of HR violations.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that too, but it's fine. We're all
I don't want to comment on your snowflakes. So get in trouble.
Yeah. Snowflakes. But yeah, no, I figured, I can't wear stuff like this. It would be weird to wear it in like June.
It would.
So,
It would. It would definitely be weird.
Since we might have like our first snowstorm or snow mess of 2026.
Well, normally here in North, we've gone like 2 or 3 years before, like between like measurable accumulated snow.
Yes.
We had a little taste of one about a month ago.
Like a month, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm kind of fearful that it's going to be that it's not going to be snow.
That's my concern.
That it's going to be significantly worse than snow. And
Correct.
I'm not here to scare anybody. I don't want to lose power.
I know that's my main concern too. Like that is how you can tell that you're adulting.
That's it.
Because I don't want to lose power.
I don't want to lose power.
I'm already going to be trapped in my subdivision anyway, but like I don't want to lose power back there.
Exactly. If I have to stay home, I have to stay home, but I don't want to lose power. So shout to you, Wake Electric Co-op in Granville County.
Yes.
Get to work. We got a lot of stuff to do today. David McKenzie Law is going to join us at the bottom of this hour to talk about the legal back and forth with Duke and Darian Mensah. There is also, we forget, he's a part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he?
Well, yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is like I was going back and forth with a friend of mine. I don't know how he goes back into that locker room if he decides all of this isn't worth it, I'll just stay at Duke. It would also be a strange way to negotiate a better contract at Duke.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening.
Good luck.
But yeah, my gosh, I feel bad for Duke. I feel bad for Duke football because they do not have a suitable quarterback replacement for him.
That's just so messy.
So, hey, guess what? This is college sports as we know it now.
Yep.
So buckle up, people. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the team side of that.
Well, and the ACC can't stay out of lawsuits, so they're just keeping with the tradition.
Interestingly enough, about this, and I want to get to some other things before we even get to the rest of our show. Interestingly enough, as I read through, and I was reading through David McKenzie's timeline, and all the stories that I read, Michael McCann from Sportico wrote about it. You know what this screams to me?
What's that?
This is essentially the exact same thing that every ACC member school did when they granted their media rights to the ACC. Darian Mensah granted his NIL rights to Duke in exchange for $4 million a year over a 2-year contract. That's what they did. That's what he did. That's the way it reads to me. I could be wrong, but that's the way it reads to me. And, I mean, I think that he's free to go, but he ain't free to go with the money.
Yeah.
That is a problem. There's no this whole thing's messy. We'll talk about that with David McKenzie as we move forward in today's show. All right. Good thing happened last night, so let's start with that.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Told you State was going to go to Clemson and win.
There you go.
They did. Bit of a roller coaster ride. Comfortable first half lead. Evaporated before the break. 8.5 minutes without a field goal at the end of regulation. Made a bunch of free throws, though. Had a great look to avoid overtime. Darian Williams, foul line, elbow of the foul line jumper. Not really strongly contested. As a good look. Didn't go. But one thing they did, they handled the details well. Turned it over just 7 times. Defense was very credible. And they made their free throws.
It's important.
And it added up to a win on the road. They are now perfect on the road, or 3-0 on the road. Will Wade talked about that. It's like, it's a good thing we went on the road because we stink at home. Regardless of that, but a good win for Will Wade and company.
It's a little bit of a relief because we I didn't know if we had it in us or not, if I'm being truthful. So, it was good to see us have that in us and play with some poise and execute in a tough environment. So, it was good for us to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Little John Coliseum is not an easy place to win. So that's a great, great, great win. I'm getting to the point where I'm a little tired of the honesty from Will Wade. I realize how that sounds. But he has not been shy about calling out his team, which I guess is fine. Everybody operates differently, and it all depends. Will's got the relationship with his players, so as long as it's not creating an adverse situation for you with your team, then feel free to act the way you want to act, and that's okay. We'll get used to it. I'm not complaining. It's just kind of funny how many times he has basically said, we aren't this, we aren't that. Like, it's still a very good roster that should be better, should be performing better. I'm glad they got the win last night. Venell and Lubin, remember at the beginning of the season when they got him out of the portal from North Carolina and basically said, I don't know what those people were doing down there, but if he plays X amount of minutes, he's 15-7. Well, Venell and Lubin basically has been that guy for NC State. Doesn't always play a ton, but he is an incredibly important piece because he is just solid as a rock. 22 points, 6 rebounds last night. Super efficient from the field as well for Will Wade.
Vin was tremendous. He's just so rock solid for us. He's the one guy that's really reliable and dependable night in and night out. And for him to play so well today, he's just so efficient. 9 out of 12, I believe, from the field. Yeah, 9 out of 12. The 2 free throws were huge. Pressure free throws. Bouncing back from, Georgia Tech, we missed quite a few free throws in our 6-minute game, and we bounced back and made them tonight. So Vin's been just rock solid for us all season.
So here's what was impressive about Lubin, because he's about a 68% free throw shooter for the year. Late, 1-1. Missed the first, you get nothing. Made them both. Some people are just better, and I'm not saying that this is Venell and Lubin, but last night, some people, doesn't matter what their percentages are. You can be a great free throw shooter, but the moment gets you. Lubin looks like the moment doesn't get him. And maybe it's because he's an older player, and he's played for a lot of different schools at this point. But he was great for NC State last night. Wake Forest lost at home to SMU. Struggles continue for the Demon Deacons. We'll talk about that with Conor O'Neill in just a minute or so. Deacons are now 2-4 in the league, 11-8 overall. Right now, I've said this about Wake Forest before. They're good enough to lose. And now they got handled comfortably by SMU last night. But if you go back and look at some of their performances this season, they played great in 1-point losses to Michigan and to Texas Tech, two of the better teams in the country. But ultimately, they have trouble winning games. And that's a problem. And I don't know that it's going to get any better on Saturday at Cameron Indoor Stadium, or whatever I just tried to say. Carolina hosts Notre Dame tonight. I would say this would be an easy one for the Tar Heels, except that nothing is easy for the Tar Heels these days. They have lost 3 of their last 4 after losing to Stanford middle of the week last week. Feel like they were going to go to Cal and really put the hammer down to the Golden Bears, and they didn't. Ended up losing that game, so not really sure what you're going to get. I found it interesting. I don't know how many people follow Sam Vecini from The Athletic on Twitter, but he really is he's a basketball analyst, but really handles like NBA draft and things like that. But he covers and scouts college basketball. And he has had a lot of great things to say about Caleb Wilson and what North Carolina could be. But he was watching the 2 games or the 4 games last week, and he said basically that watching Duke and watching Carolina defend is like watching 2 different sports. Has not been a great defensive run of late for the Tar Heels. Their defense has to improve. Otherwise, this is not going to end this season with an NCAA tournament seed that they're really cool about. Because right now they are trending in the wrong direction. Before we get to Conor O'Neill from Devils Illustrated or Deacons Illustrated or both, congratulations to a couple of the best center fielders to play the game in the last 30 years. Andrew Jones, best defensive center fielder, in my opinion, to ever play. Also a productive power hitter, run producer, got the call, Hall of Fame yesterday. That is awesome. Carlos Beltran, one of the best 5-tool players of his generation, also into the Hall of Fame. And to me, Beltran was one of the smoothest players that you could have ever watched. I do get that he was part of the Houston Astros trash can sign-stealing scandal. An enormous part of it. I'm not arguing that is something that should be completely overlooked. It's all part of the equation. But that was the last year of his career, basically. We're pretty close to it. And the bulk of Beltran's career, the 95% of it, was 100% above board, and the data, the eyeball test speaks for itself. He's a Hall of Famer. The question I got, well, what's the difference between him and Barry Bonds? I'm not one advocating that Bonds doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. So I don't even know why you would ask me the question. I'm not advocating that Bonds does not deserve Hall of Fame status. I understand why many don't want him in. I get it. It's hard to argue that because he did cheat the sport. Whereas Beltran cheated, helped, propagate a cheating system scandal within games. I feel like that's a little bit different, but doesn't matter. I am not advocating that Barry Bonds does not belong in the Hall of Fame. So there to me, there is a difference, but it doesn't really matter if there is a difference because I am not sitting here saying that Barry Bonds shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I think that the Hall of Fame is for the greatest players ever, and then we tell the full story. I am 100% about telling the full story about people in the Hall of Fame. And maybe what we need, because steroids is a separate entity, maybe we simply need a steroid wing of the Hall of Fame. All right, Wake Forest can't win. Duke wins all the time. Basketball. But as we bring in Conor O'Neill, Devils Illustrated right now, I do want to start with the locker room dynamic in football. We don't know how this is going to play out legally, but if Darian Mensah, sir, decides that, you know what, this is not worth it, I'd like to return to Duke, I would just ask you, how does that happen?
With a hell of a mea culpa. I mean, I don't see any other way. And maybe there's a 0.5% chance that even enters the equation here. I mean, he's gone. He does not want to play for Duke. He wants to play for Miami. I don't even know if you can call it the worst kept secret in college football that he's bound for Miami, because Miami's literally the only program without a starting quarterback lined up next year that would be paying for a quarterback of his caliber.
Right.
And then you throw in the fact that, you know, in the off-season weight program, they show up on Saturday mornings and lift at Duke. And on Saturday morning, there was a post from the strength and conditioning coach, David Feely, of a team picture. And I didn't go through and count the faces in the picture, but there were quite a lot of college football players posing in it. And it was quote tweeted a couple times by players that, you know, one of them, I think Nick Morris Jr. was the one who said it's indestructible culture. So it gives you a little bit of a peek into it. I mean, we're not going to get any of those players on the record to tell us,
right,
yeah, we hate that guy, we can't wait to play him in South Beach in October, November next year.
Yep.
But you get the feeling of how they feel about what went down in the last 4 or 5 days.
Conor O'Neill, right now, Devils Illustrated, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So when the news hit, and there were all sorts of rumors about Duke, you know, scouring the portal, trying to see if they could secure a quarterback, I thought at that point they might just say, all right, we'll deal with the legalities of this and whatever like buyout we can negotiate with Mensah, because there clearly was a contract and there is a contract, and this is going to be a financial hit to Mensah. My guess is when it's all said and done, that Duke was just going to move on to another quarterback. But when you just said that Miami is the only team without a viable starting quarterback, I think you could put Duke in that category now too. What does Duke do at that position?
Yeah, I mean, we make the jokes like, Adam, do you have eligibility? I mean, I'm
no.
sitting here like the 8-year-old kid from those old Cam Newton commercials. I'm just warming up my arm.
Right.
I mean, I don't know where they go. If you look at who's available in the transfer portal, it is slim pickings. There's like a San Jose State quarterback in there. The blast from the past name is Jaden Rashada, who had the huge NIL case as a high school recruit and like bounced to 2 or 3 places before he even took a college snap, I think. They were unable to get DJ Lagway at the 11th hour and 59th minute, basically, from his commitment to Baylor. It just, you know, there's a Western Carolina quarterback out there, Teron Dickens, who is electric, but he's also short and a runner, and he was at Western Carolina. And I don't mean to disparage that university, even though they were a Southern Conference rival of Elon when I was in Phoenix. But I don't see how you go from Western Carolina to Duke academically. And so,
okay, that's a good point.
I don't know what this looks like at quarterback for Duke next year. I know it's not going to be Darian Mensah. I guess at this point, you just have to say they have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. None of them are pop off the page options to be a starting quarterback for an ACC football team, but those are their options right now.
Right. It'll probably be one of those. By the way, Brad Hoover University, a very proud football factory. Conor O'Neill, _DI on Twitter. All right, we'll get back to real quick. One more thing. Is there a sense, because you may have alluded to this already, is there a sense that the players are, regardless of what it means to the football, that they're cool with Mensa out?
I don't think so. Look, this is a team that was built around repeating as ACC champs and not being 1-3 in the non-con again and playing for the CFP. Like, you kind of lose track of, okay, if this team actually beats Illinois and doesn't shoot itself in the foot 18 times in that game, or if this team actually plays semi-decent defense in the first half at Tulane, they might be a CFP team as an ACC champ, and we might not be talking about Miami being the runner-up. So all of what Duke did in 2 weeks while the transfer portal was open was built around having a star quarterback returning and putting pieces around him to be able to not only win 9 games and squeak into the ACC championship on a tiebreaker crazy scenario. It was to have a dominant season and maybe the best season of Duke football ever, at least in the modern era. And you never want to say that one guy is more important than the entire team, but that one guy is the most important part of the entire team. I don't think anybody's arguing that about the quarterback position in college football in 2026.
Right. Yeah, this is it'll be a test for them. The schedule is not easy. They have 5 road games and just 4 games at home, but their road schedule is no joke next year. Conor O'Neill. All right, let me now you're Deacons Illustrated.
Okay.
What is getting in the way of their basketball team from, I mean, they played some great games early in the season in the non-conference and lost by 1. The game at Michigan could have easily been a win. I know they had a lead late in that one, didn't win. They nearly beat Texas Tech. They are really laboring to win games. What is going on there? They're
undersized. They've been out-rebounded in each of the last 4 games, and the combined margin is 53. It's really hard when you get out-rebounded by 10+, when you let the other team shoot 50% on threes. I mean, SMU was 14 of 28 last night. The only team that's made more threes against Wake this year was Vanderbilt in their evisceration of them right before Christmas. They're struggling. And last night's revelation was they had an awful practice on Monday, and they showed up and pretty much played exactly how they practiced against SMU. And SMU's not a team that you just walk out there and play a C+ game and win. I mean, they have legitimate star power in their backcourt. It starts with obviously Boopy Miller, and BJ Edwards and Jaron Pierre are really good scorers too. So SMU's decent. It's not, last night was not the Wake game that you look at and say this should have been a win. Right. It was a toss-up going in, and Wake played a poor game, and SMU played a decent game. Wake's front court is just struggling. Their point guard play, I mean, they've been getting over 22 points a game from Nate Calmise the last 4, and he had 4 points last night. So inconsistencies, it's a struggle right now. It's not going to get any better on Saturday, I don't think, at Cameron. Unless the snow comes and moves it up to Friday night or cancels it. No, I mean, look, I obviously am very familiar with both of these teams. I know how they match up better than I know any other matchups in the ACC. And I mean, Wake has to find some way to keep Cameron Boozer and Pat Gongba from just completely dictating everything about that game. Conor O'Neill is joining us here. Back to Devils Illustrated.
The way, like, Duke's trip to California was pretty impressive. It's funny. It was, you think Cal's not that good. Stanford is a borderline tournament team, but I think they've got some very good players. At least I watched the Carolina game at Stanford, and I came away very impressed by the Cardinal. Duke just laid waste to both teams. I mean, they were so much better. And they didn't even to me, they still haven't even played. I thought they played better maybe a month ago than they are right now. Because they're not getting consistent play from whether it's Dame Sarr or Nick Himenia, although Himenia has, I think, given them some good moments lately. Duke gets sporadic, consistent play at point guard. But, man, Boozer is just that good. Where sometimes it doesn't matter because he's a machine. What are your thoughts on what they have been, what they are? Not necessarily as we head to Saturday, but just where they are right now.
It's funny how much a week can change the perspective of a team in the ACC, I guess, because a week ago I would have told you Duke was trending in the wrong direction.
Right.
I mean, they did not look great since you could say the Texas Tech game. They were up 17 points in the second half of that game.
Right.
It was really just 15 minutes that they looked terrible against Texas Tech. Yep. And then it was 4 ACC games. And it was 4 ACC games that they won by a combined 28 points. Then they go out west, and you're thinking, okay, on the road, only one other men's team has gone out to California in the last year and a half and swept, and ironically, it's Wake Forest last year. This does not add up. Like, it looks like Duke is not going to come back from the West Coast with an unblemished ACC record. And they played an okay first half against Cal, and then the last 3 halves they played out there were just pedal to the metal domination. And it's, I go back to last week's teleconference asking John Shire kind of, what's the deal with this team's defense? And he basically said they're not playing as connected and consistently as they were. And it's like, well, why are they not playing the same way that they were playing in November and into December? And it's just basically, you have to elevate. You can't stay the same month to month in college basketball, or you plateau in November, and it's a problem because you're going to get beat. Teams scout you. They figure out what you're not good at and what you're uncomfortable doing, and they put you in those situations. But then you fast forward to what they looked like last week, and it's like, oh, so Dame Sarr can completely take Ibuka Okori out of a game.
Yep.
And he can have 36 and 9 against Carolina, and he has 9 points on 9 shots, 1 assist, and 4 turnovers when he has a 6'8", 190-pound Italian wrapped around him for the entire game. So it's really interesting to me how quickly the perspective can change. I think Duke did absolutely turn the corner last week with how connected they played defensively, especially. And then, I mean, good God, we cannot take for granted the consistency and the domination of Cam Boozer. And he just goes out there every night and scores 25 points in an efficient manner and gives you somewhere between 8 and 15 rebounds. And he's going to get his hands on some balls for blocks and steals. And just incredible.
Yeah, he is. He's an incredible player. They've got good depth, not great depth. I think their key to their whole season is Caleb Foster. If Foster can, but I've been saying this. I said this about Tyrese Proctor for the last 2 years. If Foster plays to his capabilities, then I think Duke is excellent. I don't know that they can win a national championship, but might not have to beat some of those other teams. Depends on what the bracket does, but to me, he's the key. But they've got some incredible pieces, and Cam Boozer is definitely one of them. Conor O'Neill, Devils Illustrated, Deacons Illustrated, at Conor O'Neill _DI. Sir, appreciate it. Brace yourself for the great toilet paper shortage of 2026.
Yeah, I know in North Carolina, everybody, the milk is probably going to be all gone by tomorrow.
It's all right. We bought a cow, so we're just going to use that. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Peace. All right, we'll take a break. David McKenzie, an intellectual property attorney and expert, weighs in on the legalities between Duke and their now former quarterback, Darian Mensa. Next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoots, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan.
And me, Chris Lee from WRAL TV.
We're in the offseason, but our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics, rolls on.
In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL Draft approaches.
Insights on free agents and prospects.
Plus, all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 19.
Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
It's time to start a new year, maybe make a New Year's resolution, and how about a new drink? I'm Victoria Bodenecker here for Blue Shark Vodka, and it's time to create a new beverage as we kick off a new year. Blue Shark Vodka is the smoothest, cleanest vodka from a family-owned business, which is made locally here in North Carolina. And their handcrafted bottles are sure to catch your eye with their 3D shark swimming around at the bottom. So go check them out at your local ABC store and visit their website for recipes and details at BlueSharkVodka.com.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
What's this?
We're expanding the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club.
That's a pretty big wrecking ball.
Well, with all these new scratch-offs, this place is going to be packed with new winners. Okay, let's go ahead and knock this wall down. This is where we're putting the polo field. Whoa, patience, Trixie.
This month's tickets are loaded with $90 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds or winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.68. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The next disaster is coming. The time to get ready is now. Make a plan. Identify meetup locations and people you'll need to contact. Put your contact list in your wallet, on your phone, and somewhere visible in your home. Build a kit. Store enough food and water for 3 days. Don't forget your pets. And consider buying a pre-made kit. Keep at least 7 days of medication on hand. Work with your pharmacist and insurance company to secure the extra doses. Make copies of important documents. Keep them on your phone, in the cloud, or on a USB stick. Stay informed. Learn about local hazards. Take courses in CPR and first aid. And sign up for local alert systems. An early warning can give you the time you need to prepare for a fast-moving disaster. Be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
My muscles ached. I was tired all the time.
My son had a full-blown asthma attack. It came out of nowhere.
The unsettling thing about some symptoms is
I had a fever and these terrible headaches.
you don't always know what's causing them.
It was Lyme disease from a tick bite.
I had West Nile virus from a mosquito.
He had a reaction to cockroach allergens.
Threats to your health can come from unexpected places. Get the facts. Visit pestroll.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
How is your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6-7. He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing, and that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, like, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love that.
The Adam Gold Show.
So there are a lot of questions that I have about what Duke is going through, what Duke is putting themselves through. I said yesterday, I did not think Duke would sue Darian Mensah because maybe they'd play the long game where the University of Washington was all about preventing their quarterback, Damon Williams, from leaving UW to go maybe to LSU. As it turned out, if Duke was listening, they went, nah, we are playing the short game. I don't know if they're mad. David McKenzie, McKenzie Law on Twitter, an intellectual property attorney, an expert, is joining us here. You've been here before, David. I appreciate your time. As I'm reading through all of this, and your timeline is spectacular for information, not only your opinions, but when other people with knowledge of this ask you questions or comment, and the back and forth there is phenomenal. So I'm reading through the story, and all I could think of is, I believe Darian Mensah signed a grant of rights with Duke. Is this not, fundamentally the same thing as what happened with all 18 members of the ACC and the league signing away grant of rights? Isn't that what he did with his NIL?
How ironic. I thought the exact same thing. The answer to your question is yes. And quite notably, the attorney that represented the ACC in the disputes with the grant of rights against Clemson and Florida State is now representing Duke against Darian Mensah. So how life can come 360, that's exactly what it is. It is a grant of rights of his intellectual property. People do not understand. We NIL and name, image, and likeness is kind of a cool term that people think has been invented since the day of revenue sharing. It's not. It's otherwise known as the right of publicity. It's been around for decades. It's how Elvis's estate to this very day monetizes his imagery, name, and likeness. So it's been around for quite some time. And when Duke signed Darian Mensah to play at Duke University, they did so under a 2-year deal. Yes, it was a grant of rights for a specific period, for a specific term, that being 2 years. And so, I would agree with you. I think that's a great analogy and would hold in court.
David McKenzie is joining us here, intellectual property attorney and an expert in the subject. So you wrote a long piece about why you didn't think the ultimate TRO, temporary restraining order, would be successful, and I believe it was denied yesterday. So where are we with the initial legal proceeding between Duke and Darian Mensah? And we know he is in the transfer portal. They can't prevent a student from transferring. There are other restrictions that can be placed going forward. But where are we right now legally?
Boy, a lot can happen in 24 hours, Adam. I did post a post skeptical of the TRO or Duke's motion for a TRO, but that was before I saw the actual contract, which has been provided to me. What I would say is that when you go for a TRO, it's kind of like, I hate to say it, balls to the walls. You're really going for the jugular on something like that. So Duke went balls to the walls and trying to get an injunction immediately on an emergency basis. And I had some skepticism because that was before I saw the contract, but the contract itself does identify damages that would be equal to what Duke has already paid under their agreement, which we all know is $4 million. And so the question then became, well, if Duke has an adequate remedy that's specified in the contract, then where is the irreparable harm?
Right.
So, the harm can be cured in the damages. And so, but in the contract itself that has been now made public, Darian Mensah agreed with Duke that any effort to breach the agreement, enroll in the portal, play for another team, enroll at another university would constitute irreparable harm. Now, when you're looking at it from the outside and two people agree to that, that lowers the standard of what a TRO when it can apply. Now, I will tell you, Adam, that it does appear that maybe a TRO actually issued. Now, I have seen reports from notable outlets, including The Athletic, say that the TRO was denied, citing Mensah's attorney, who's not local and not licensed in North Carolina, to say that it was denied. Well, all evidence points to the contrary. Since then, it has come out that Darian Mensah cannot play for another team. He cannot enroll at another institution pending what's called the hearing on the preliminary injunction, which happens to be 10 days after yesterday's hearing. That's in the actual the clerk's record minutes.
Gotcha.
And so you would have to assume that since he's not able to enroll at another institution or play for another team, that something yesterday was granted. And so I have opined on that to suggest, I can't say for a matter of fact without seeing the order and having not been there yesterday, nobody knew about it, that is exactly what happened. But in North Carolina, when you get a TRO, it's good for 10 days, and you come back on that TRO to determine whether it should be dissolved or whether it should continue in the form of a preliminary injunction. And the parties have a February 2nd date, which is right out that 10 days that you would expect if a TRO had been entered. So I think we're going to find out much more today.
David McKenzie is joining us here talking about Duke suing their quarterback for breach of contract, essentially. So there are so many other questions about this. We don't know that it's Miami, but we assume that it's Miami based on all of the conversations around this and the fact that Miami needs a quarterback. If it is Miami, the University of Wisconsin sued Miami for tortious interference in a separate case. I think it was a year ago. Could Duke do if it turns out to be Miami? Could Duke also explore that, suing another member of the conference?
Oh, it could. Of course, it would have to establish the elements of a tortious interference claim. I think this time around, though, Miami was a little bit more adroit in how it handled this. You know, the elements in North Carolina, you got to know of an existing contract. You got to induce Mensa to breach the contract through some means. There's lots of elements there to that. Now, what Miami did, it was very public about its quarterback search, and it sought Ty Simpson from the University of Alabama and tried to keep him from going into the NFL draft, and advertised basically out there that they were willing to pay $6.5 million for Simpson's services. By doing that, Miami unquestionably sent a message to every quarterback in the NCAA or the country and saying that this is what we're willing to pay for the top quarterback. And I can't imagine that not being sent to Mensa, and Mensa thinking to himself, well, that's the going rate for the market for my services. And there's no question in the portal, at least, that Mensa would be the top quarterback available. And so is that tortious interference? Not at all. Is it smart? Is it cunning? Is it all those kind of good things that you would expect from Miami? Yes, it is. So I don't think there's any evidence. And it's interesting, Duke does not actually plead in his complaint that Miami did anything wrong. What Duke does is cite somebody who's not all that credible, quite frankly, Barstool Sports, basically copies and pastes a tweet that he made that was issued or tweeted 2 hours before Mensa called Manny Diaz and says, I'm leaving. Right. Now, it was specific in an unusual way. And what Duke, I think, quite wisely is saying, this is what we're able to tell you from our internal emails and communications, that Mensa contacted Coach Diaz at 3:58 or whatever it was. He then emailed the compliance people at 4:12 saying he's out. He then posted something to social media around 4:45. I'm not exact with these times, but 2 hours before any of this happened, some guy is able to tweet out rather specific details about Mensa going to Miami. And so what Duke is doing, and it's incredibly disciplined lawyering, is saying, look, Judge, this is our timeline. How did this guy know about this 2 hours before? He does appear to be a Yahoo in every sense of the word, but somebody had some information, and they're asking the court to draw its own inferences.
Now, within the contract, there were also, I guess, looking forward and allowing for the possibility that Mensa would want out after 1 year. There were time constraints. He would have had to have notified Manny Diaz or the school. Was it 48 hours prior to something like this happening? It does seem like from the timeline that was maybe in the Barstool tweet that none of that happened. That everything happened a lot closer to the time that he put his name into the portal. That also breached the contract. Yes.
Yes, and let me be very clear to your listeners. Duke is going to win this dispute. I mean, it's going to ultimately happen. Now, whether it does it at the trial court with injunctive relief before arbitration, that's one question I can't answer. I think the answer to that is yes. It will at least get some form of an injunction against Mensa. and then it will win at arbitration. But yes, there was a number of obligations that Mensa committed to as a part of receiving $4 million for playing for Duke University as a 21-year-old man. That included any effort by any agent or other school to tamper with him while he's at Duke, any offer or any even contact. So he had 48 hours within that kind of thing to notify Duke. And so there was also obligations. I mean, a number of obligations that, it doesn't appear he complied with. I mean, he at the 11th hour, I think it was like 3:58, then 4:11, 5 o'clock was coming and it was on the deadline of the portal dates. He says he doesn't notify of anything. And he just says, I need to go into the portal.
Right.
So, yeah, there was a number of violations that were preceding this lawsuit that happened on just Friday. And I also need to add that it's interesting. Duke's backup quarterback on Thursday withdrew or went into the portal and transferred to another school. So Duke was really, truly left high and dry.
Yeah, it's funny. When we heard the news, I knew Duke was actively looking around for quarterbacks. That's why I thought they would move on. But it's clear that they could not find anybody suitable. I have no idea if Darian Mensah could ever walk into that locker room again. I think that's going to be that's an interpersonal relationship issue that Duke is going to have to deal with. Let me just one more thing before we have to let David McKenzie go. Settlement. Could Duke simply settle with Mensah for? I mean, they may just get the money back, $4 million back. Not sure that that satisfies them. It would certainly that appears to be the damages, but could they just negotiate a larger settlement with Darian Mensah as if that would matter?
Of course, and I think Duke should under the facts of this case. I mean, the contract itself spells out the $4 million, but also Duke holds Mensah's intellectual property. What are you going to do to buy that back? So as a matter of liquidated damages, it's not going to be called that, but as a matter of damages, Duke is owed $4 million for Mensah's breach of the contract, but it also maintains his intellectual property, his NIL. So even if Mensah went to the University of Miami and signed a deal with Adidas for his NIL, then Duke would be entitled to the revenue from that or the royalties from that contract. So what's it worth to you, Mensah, to buy Duke out of Duke's rights? Because they no longer belong to Mensah. They belong to Duke. And that was what he did as a grown man. Now, at a cost of $4 million and potentially another $4 million next year for an aggregate number of $8 million. I mean, Adam, this is big league hunting here. This is big league ball. When you're going to a school and you're agreeing, no matter your age, to take $4 million to play for about 5 months of the year and practice for another 3, this is obligations matter and contracts matter. And so Duke wrote a contract that was quite smart, wise, and it put all these provisions in there to prevent from a situation just like this. So I would expect Duke to take no prisoners on this and expect the full measure of its damages.
And I would expect that around the country, everybody is watching how this plays out. David McKenzie, McKenzie Law, intellectual property expert. I appreciate your time, sir. Go McKenzie. Thank you.
Go Gold. Thanks, Adam.
I have no idea why I said that. But appreciate David McKenzie's time. No idea how that's going to play out. Again, when we talked about this yesterday, I'm concerned about the image of Duke football. I mean, that's a tough way to essentially exit the portal time. So we'll see what happens. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Even in spring ball, who the quarterback's going to be. When we come back, one-timers, you ask questions, I give answers. That's how it works. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We are kicking on to playoff mode in the National Football League. What do you mean kicking on? We have been kicked on already for 2 weeks. And remember, FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost pack for every NFL playoff game day. During the championship round, you can find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. And it is the greatest app known to sports wagering wagering ever. More boosts means you get to create more value in whatever you like. FanDuel.com/local, FanDuel.com/local. Grab your Profit Boost pack today. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable Profit Boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land loss by the year 2040. Together we can protect our family farms even as North Carolina's population continues to grow. Learn more about preserving your family farm at the Southern Farm Show in Raleigh, February 4th through the 6th by visiting the booth for the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And see more at ncadfp.org.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This season, make the choice to protect what matters most, you and your family. Choose to get vaccinated for the best protection from respiratory illness.
Talking with your provider about vaccines, hand washing, and staying home when sick keep your family protected from the flu, RSV, and COVID.
Defend yourself. Get vaccinated to protect you and your family from respiratory illnesses this season.
Visit myspot.nc.gov to find yours today.
Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
See Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. On Monday, I'm not sure what we'll be.
Oh my goodness.
We will be able to say.
I know.
So hopefully we'll all be okay.
Yes, and have power.
That's all I'm rooting for.
That's our yes.
All right. Are we ready? One-timers, questions and answers.
All right. Well, Culprit, he's on it. First up, Robinson injury update.
No update yet. Although practice just ended a little while ago, so I will seek out a potential answer before we're done here. So,
Next question.
Next question.
Next up from Jennifer, do you think Nikishin could be a defensive superstar in the long haul?
I think superstar is a stretch. I think he can be a legitimate top 4 player. I think he is always going to be better offensively than defensively. Superstar again is a little bit of a reach, but I think he can be a very good player. Okay, here from Rod Brindamore. He'll be out for an extended period of time. Not good news there, but it is what it is. Arm was in a sling.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there we go.
Looked like a shoulder injury to me, the way he left the ice.
Yeah. Well, seeing as how most of the state's going to have potentially snow or just a hot, cold mess this weekend, what's the best snowed-in snack to have? Or snacks?
Snacks?
Yeah, snowed-in snacks.
I have already made a giant pot of chili.
Yeah.
And we'll just end it right there. I'll make a cornbread tonight.
Sweet or not sweet?
This will be sweet, and I may just throw some fresh jalapenos in there just to add a little kick to it. But it'll basically be sweet. But it's specifically for the chili. So it's chili. I don't do snacks.
No, yeah. I mean, well,
we'll make popcorn. Jack's a popcorn fiend.
Oh, is he? Does he like all
God.
kinds, like even with the chocolate and stuff on it?
No. He just wants to make popcorn and eat it all.
Well, I don't hate it there.
That's what he does. And it's the only thing he can cook. Like he makes legit popcorn, but he can't cook anything else.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-319-5725. 800-319-5725. 800-319-5725.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation, and whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check them out online, aluminumcompany.com.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, NA member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heaster Chevrolet, get up to $20,000 off a new 2025 Silverado 1500 RST. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
We don't want you on our team.
You're not the right fit for this job.
You're too slow and fast.
Don't you care how you look?
Weight bias hurts. Go to stopweightbias.com. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm. Injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Stroud out of the gun, near right hash. He needs 4 for a first. He fades, edge pressure. He steps up. He fires over the top. Brief separation. High point attempted a grab. Incomplete. Looking for Hutchinson. He could not hold on. Met the air by Spillane. And the Patriot defense holds. It's a turnover on downs. 1:03 to go in the fourth. They can taste it in New England. They're going to altitude. The high seat hold. We're going to have Broncos and Pats for a spot in Super Bowl 60.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. There's a lot going on right now. Hope everybody is well. We're on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you will get to us. So, again, so many things going on, especially with regards to Darian Mensah and what he is... what his plans are, what Duke's plans are. And the university released a statement. Here's the statement. This is from Pete Thamel on Twitter an hour ago. Mr. Mensah has an existing contract with Duke. Well, before I get too far ahead, for those people who might not know, because, we don't all know everything. Well, Victoria does, but we don't all know everything.
Yeah, I wish. I like to pretend I do sometimes. Not always.
It's always helpful to fake it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For people who do not know, Duke's quarterback last year, Darian Mensah, was one of the best quarterbacks in the Atlantic Coast Conference, who was in many ways largely responsible for Duke winning the Atlantic Coast Conference championship in the win over Virginia. He announced at a very late date that he was entering the transfer portal. Now, when Mensah came to Duke, he came to Duke from Tulane, armed with a 2-year, $4 million annual agreement between he and the university. And contract language was such that his rights, his NIL rights, were bound to the university for 2 years. And if I did a lot of reading on this yesterday, and it read to me like grant of rights, that he was saying, I belong, my name, image, likeness rights belong to you for 2 years. So last week, at the very end, before the portal closed, he announced that he was going in it. All right, that's where we are. And yesterday, we talked about this yesterday, and I said I didn't think Duke would do anything simply because if you put yourself in a position of suing players, of blocking players from going where they want to be, that I do believe that in the long run, it hurts you. It hurts you with future players. Now, it certainly hurts you with current players because, man, that's a big part of your team. What happened there? How did this whole thing transpire? Everybody thought that Mensah was going to be back. He announced a week ago or a week prior that he was coming back for his second year, which, okay, good. A lot of other players did too, by the way. Duke has lost a few players from the transfer portal, but they have brought in, like as far as I know, significantly more players from the portal than they lost. Anyway, so that's where we are now. Duke sued yesterday, filed for a temporary restraining order from Mensah going into the transfer portal, landing with another school, all of that stuff. They wanted to put the brakes on that entirely. Yesterday, it was reported that the TRO was denied. Today, it sounds like the TRO was granted. I have no idea. Anyway, here's a statement from about, this is from 11 o'clock, so 2 hours ago. Pete Thamel from ESPN on Twitter. This is the statement from Duke Athletics. Mr. Mensah has an existing contract with Duke, which the university intends to honor, and we expect he will do the same. The court-ordered temporary restraining order issued yesterday ensures he does not violate his contract. In the contract, there is language that he agreed to that essentially prevents him from playing for another school, from transferring to another school during the length of the deal, which again expires the last day of 2026, so December 31st, 2026. The university is committed to supporting all of our student athletes while expecting each of them to abide by their contractual obligations. So that is what Duke did or released earlier today. This now from Stuart Mandel from The Athletic. Duke is expected to enter Darian Mensah's name in the portal today. This is from an hour later than that other one. Duke is also expected to host a visit from San Jose State quarterback Walker Eggett, who entered the portal on January 9th. He was a 2-year starter at San Jose State. I have no idea what's happening. None. There are two elements here. One is the dirty business of modern college football when it comes to the finances. And it is funny to me that now people are coming around. The answer is yes. Collective bargaining will solve this problem. 100% it will solve this problem. It may create others, but the problems collective bargaining might create, and it's no guarantee it will create those problems, but they might, those problems pale in comparison to these problems. If we want some sanity in roster construction, roster retention, fairness in player compensation, if you want that, and my guess is coaches want that, administrators, maybe not as strongly as coaches, but administrators should want that, then the problems that collective bargaining would create, healthcare, insurance, workman's comp, taxes, all of those other things, when you make the football players, in this case, employees, those things can be worked out a lot more simply than what we are dealing with right now. And I could be wrong here, but this seems to be getting worse than better. My opinion was, because it was all so new, that it was going to be massively hard, and then it would sort of settle in as people kind of got used to the system. Well, no, that's not happening. It's getting worse. And it's getting worse because there's so much money now involved that people are doing, schools and players. It happened with, and again, not every situation is different, so these are not identical. But remember Tennessee's quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, right? He had a contract at Tennessee. And then, I'm out. He was basically trying to renegotiate his deal. Tennessee was like, no, we did this. Who cares where we don't care. They got, I remember the quarterback from App State who went to UCLA. And then it was like, oh, wait. Then Iamaleava went to UCLA. He goes, well, I'm out of here. Joey Aguilar ended up at Tennessee. Weird. Unfair to a lot of people. But it is unfortunately, the way of the world right now in college football. And until somebody takes charge of this to kind of direct everybody where they need to be and convince the powers that be that the easiest way for this to be solved is through collective bargaining, until that happens, I'm not sure it's ever going to level off. I thought it would. I gave people too much credit. I really did. I really thought that everybody would kind of figure out how this whole thing was going to settle down, and, it was just going to take some getting used to. But no, there's too much money at stake for teams, because while it will be hard to look, Darian Mensah, by the way, was a great story last year. If you recall, here's a kid, mom, single mom, raising kids, public assistance, all of this, and to be where he is now, what he has been able to provide for his family is a great story. And now we get this, where, again, I don't know him, but the appearance is greed. Is what it is. The schools, who bear a lot of responsibility here as well, and I'm not absolving anybody from blame. I don't know the mechanisms that got Mensah to Duke. Duke could have gone in and done it. I don't know that they did or didn't. Duke could have gone in and done nefarious things in getting Mensah away from Tulane. I don't know. But Mensah goes from, I'm coming back, I'm going to run it back, to, I'm entering the portal. Miami needs a quarterback. Maybe posting a want ad on, what was the old...
The classifieds?
Yeah. Miami, college football national runner-up in search of quarterback for long walks at midnight.
Please call, ...
I don't know. Anyway, we're going to talk to Chip Patterson about this and a lot more when we come back. But so I don't know what the deal is. Is Mensah at Duke, or is Mensah in the transfer portal? I don't know. We'll talk to Chip Patterson next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan.
And me, Chris Lee from WRAL TV.
We're in the offseason, but our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics, rolls on.
In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL Draft approaches.
Insights on free agents and prospects.
Plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 19.
Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm, Road, and Cary. You know what Gordon did in 1987? Well, yes, he did. Yeah, that. But he also invented the no closing cost mortgage, so you could save thousands of dollars by not paying closing costs. Depending on the size of your home loan, we are talking about a significant amount of money that you have to provide. Hey, a lot of places will have you simply roll closing costs into the loan amount. You don't want to finance closing costs. You don't want to add anything to your loan amount. Don't pay them because you don't have to. And by not paying closing costs, it gives you the freedom, the peace of mind to refinance free of charge when the rates come down. And in the last year, they have, and they will continue to drop, and you can continue to lower your monthly payment and not pay closing costs at the same time. So you save thousands and then hundreds each time you refinance. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road and Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Taxes was feeling unwelcome. Now Taxes is an open door, literally, to new TurboTax stores. Meet our experts in person.
Hi, welcome in.
They're powered by smart tech and ready to do your taxes for you. Get real-time updates while you go about your day. Confident your taxes are done right. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. TurboTax stores opening soon. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Meals from those years are hard to forget. It was all white bread and whole milk, hamburger casseroles and quiche Lorraines, all with a side of cigarettes. We ate salads as desserts. We knew a party was classy if it had a cheese log. And we never missed an after-dinner smoke. It didn't matter if we were in our dining rooms, a burger joint, or the ritziest of restaurants. There'd be an ashtray on every table, and that very particular flavor in every meal. We smoked for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's amazing that our food could taste like anything else. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Surviving lung cancer starts with a scan. Learn more at screenyourlungs.org. This PSA was made possible by industry funding and guidance from lung cancer patient groups.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box in the car.
Went to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. My head is spinning with what is going on at Duke football. Don't know. Don't know if I'm the quarterback in the spring or if Darian Mentz is the quarterback in the spring. I think I might have a better chance of being the starting quarterback or being a quarterback at Duke than Darian Mensah does. But I asked Conor O'Neill earlier what his general thought was when it comes to the players, and he didn't necessarily, unless I misread his response, he didn't necessarily feel like it would be a player problem for Darian Mensah to come back. And that is in some ways encouraging, that maybe if they can figure this out, Mensah will be back at Duke. I don't know. I don't even know if Chip Patterson knows, but I get to talk to Chip Patterson anyway. Cover 3 podcast, my friend at Chip_Patterson. Before we get to the national championship game and everything about that, and then the future, what are your thoughts on Darian Mensah and his Duke career over? What's up?
Horrendous gut punch from Manny Diaz, offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer, and the outlook. The timing literally could not have been worse.
Right.
The available options, because you can still add players, right? The only deadline had to do with entering your name into the portal. Correct. I even thought about Alberto Mendoza, but it looks like he's already off to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
You know? So it is the slimmest of pickings when it comes to trying to identify somebody who would step into his place. And, if you are Manny Diaz, I mean, it is just super, super disappointing for the way that it is. I'm not going to say that it, kneecapped them, because they overcame incredible, twists and turns to be able to win the ACC championship. Right.
Yeah.
So clearly this is already a Duke program under Manny Diaz that's been able to overcome obstacles, exceed expectations along the way. But man, just brutal for Duke. Because my prediction, I think he plays for Miami next year. How we get there, how many lawsuits, how many court cases, how many millions of dollars, whether it counts against Miami's cap or does not count against Miami's cap, what exactly is owning NIL rights.
Yeah.
All of those things sound like they are for billable hours. For my function is devastating for Duke. And I do think that ultimately at the end of this, he will end up at Miami.
Chip Patterson every Wednesday here on the Adam Gold Show. When I read through people whose opinions matter to me, when I read through the facts of this case, he essentially grant of rights, his NIL rights to Duke.
Correct.
That's basically what happened. So that's the exchange. That's the way the contract is written. I give you my rights, my name, image, and likeness rights. You give me $4 million a year for 2 years. And ultimately, maybe if he were upfront about this earlier, this wouldn't have gotten to this point. But obviously he wasn't. He was in breach of certain obligations, regardless about going to another school. He was in breach of time-sensitive obligations. You must give certain notice, and he clearly did not do that here. And that he did put Duke in a very difficult spot. This is going to cost, Duke can just say, you owe us $4 million for last year. But this seems like it's going to be a lot more expensive maybe than just $4 million, and it might end up costing him a lot more money.
The interesting piece of this for me, and I was talking to somebody who is, very into the personnel department world, and he said everyone's watching this. Everyone's watching this.
Gosh.
The conversation, because I don't know how much your unprecedented statewide platform was dialed into the DeMond Williams saga.
I brought it up a little bit, yeah.
Okay. The difference there, my understanding, is that DeMond Williams was part of the rev share, and that the way the house settlement is written, these types of situations would end up counting against the rev share cap of the school where they go. So in this case, if he was to go to LSU, then LSU would have had to knock off whatever rev share amount he had agreed to Washington, take that off of their cap, which for a quarterback can be really restricting, when we're talking about rev share caps of around $18 million. The way that it was told to me, as I understand it, you can hear the son of an attorney just absolutely couch this as much as I can. The way it was told to me, as I understand it, the Darian Mensah situation is different because it is NIL.
Right.
And therefore, there isn't that penalty for Miami. The penalty for Miami is going to be the litigation, whatever kind of buyouts, whatever that ends up being, that is going to be the financial penalty. And coming off of $20 million in a national title run, the belief within the industry is that big bank buy little bank, even though Duke's not a little bank by every stretch of the imagination, not a little bank.
Right.
But just that if Miami wants to get this done, they don't have the kind of penalty that necessarily the DeMond Williams situation would have, which is why everyone's paying attention and constantly considering when you're thinking about your payroll, when you're thinking about how these guys are paid, especially for the big name quarterbacks, how much is NIL? How much is rev share? And what are the legal binding agreements that come with both of those? How difficult are those legal binding agreements to break? So I have no idea how we get there. I have a guess as to how this ends, and I believe, as always, billable hours will be undefeated.
Oh, billable. They're the real national champions. Chip Patterson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. On an interpersonal level, I just don't see how, if Duke made him stay, I just don't see how that plays out. There's a trust factor. Matt, maybe the players can get by it, right? Maybe the players can get over it and just understand, because that happens in professional sports all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how college coaches get by this.
I will speak to what I've seen. I will speak to what I have heard. Darian Mensah, in his time at Duke, was not disengaged. Like we watched him out there in that Sun Bowl taking hit after hit after hit after hit. I was like, geez, guys, you're trying to get him to not go pro. You can't be letting him get all these hits right now. His teammates seem to like him.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that Conor O'Neill shared that sort of note in terms of the way that it would be provided. But you talked about the trust factor. That's what Jed Fish, the Washington quarterback, said when it was announced DeMond Williams would be coming back. Jed Fish said, "We're very happy to have DeMond back. Now begins the process of repairing trust."
Right.
Trust was broken. And so, I don't know. It is easier for me to wrestle with the story almost advancing mentally to the outcome, because if he stays, boy, that's wild and had a lot of legal hoops to get through that I don't know if I'm going to understand. And I definitely won't understand, trying to unpack all the interpersonal pieces of it. Should he be, to your opener, should he be in spring practice with the Blue Devils?
I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Friend of mine, I asked who would be the starting quarterback or would be in line in terms of quarterbacks on their roster. And he mentioned Dan Mahan. I've never heard of Dan Mahan. He sounds tall to me, but I have no idea who he is. And he also pointed out that what Mensah has done is really unfair to players who committed to come back because, in part, Darian Mensah is the quarterback. Nate Barkate, the wide receiver, who had a great year. Nate Shepard, the running back. I mean, these are guys who, they would be worth a lot of money in the transfer portal because of the seasons that they had. And it's going to be, if without a quarterback, it's going to be super difficult for those guys to have similar seasons.
There's there is a path for Duke here but it is a ceiling that is lower than it is with Darian Mensah, because Darian Mensah is a not only extremely talented quarterback, but was super productive within the system.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention Jonathan Brewer right at the top of this. He's an offensive coordinator that I have praised for often. Now he's having to start over, and it's just a wildly different position for the offense.
All right, let's move on from Duke, although still had a very good year. So thoughts on the national championship game on Monday night? I mean, I wasn't surprised. To me, Indiana won this game in the margins, like the little things that they just did better than Miami. They didn't miss the kicks. They didn't get a punt block for a touchdown. That's where Miami really lost the game. I'm not sure they would have won it had they not gotten a punt blocked for a touchdown and missed the field goal or made that field goal. I don't think that automatically guarantees a win, but they made it more difficult on themselves. And if you lose the margins in a tight game, you probably lose the game. So what are your thoughts on what we saw Monday night?
I did not think that I would say this, but given Indiana and all of the Indiana-ness, which of course you've discussed as well,
yeah,
and Miami, which has been fighting inch by inch to reclaim some level of respect, I am glad. Again, did not think I would say this.
Right.
I am glad that game and that matchup happened in the 12-team era, because what it did is it made it undeniable. The fact that Indiana, going back to the Big Ten title game, goes Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon,
right,
and then ultimately with Miami. Miami, on the other hand, goes at Texas A&M, Ohio State, red hot Ole Miss, and then you end up falling 6 points short, driving with a chance to potentially win the football game. The reason why I say that is that we released our final CBS Sports 136 of the season today.
Right.
And Miami's too. And I think Miami's a deserving too. Because when you pair those victories with the win against Notre Dame, that's a hell of a collection of victories. And the reason why I talk about the 12-team format is that if this had happened in the BCS era, you would have folks in Athens, Georgia. You would have folks in Columbus. No, they're not a real champion. Oh, we would have had to. The fact that we have the format that we have right now means that whoever gets to the title game, and definitely the team that wins it, it's just undeniable. You've put together the best resume in all of college football. And so for Indiana and every bit of breakthrough, all the blue bloods that they had to march through over the last couple of years, I am glad that there is not a true debate about how worthy or unworthy, how good or not good they are, because they just went out and proved it.
Yeah, well, they had a great year. They have a great quarterback. Look, I don't know if Fernando Mendoza is going to be even a good NFL quarterback. I just don't. I'm not sure anybody does. He's going to be the first pick in the draft. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I do think that the one thing that you could absolutely not deny, Mendoza's got unique leadership ability. Mm-hmm. He is super tough. That touchdown run was, he could have gotten killed.
He'd been getting popped all night.
Right.
He'd been getting crushed.
But that play was just next level. I want to ask you this, and I sent you a text about this yesterday. The notion, and my comments about this were sort of misunderstood. The notion that no excuses. Indiana won the national championship. Any team could do it, I think is a fallacy, because any team can't do it. There are a lot of teams that have the means to do that, but it would be unfair. Like, no offense, we were talking about it. Duke can't do it. Duke's not that. Could they make a playoff? Could they make the playoff? Yeah, I think they could make the playoff, given not a perfect storm, but if
2025 was 2026, ACC champions in, Duke makes the playoff.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about building a team like that, because it takes a financial commitment to build the roster. So what I am curious about is how much money, revenue share and NIL combined, how much money did Indiana put? And I'm not saying they bought it because they didn't spend as much as a lot of other teams. How much money in revenue share and NIL combined did Indiana put into this roster?
See, I do not know the exact number on that one. Curt Cignetti's been pushing back aggressively in terms of what the numbers are. And what I know is that Indiana didn't get into a lot of bidding wars. Right? Because that's how money is spent. I mean,
True.
That is any market. Like the teams that are spending the most money are doing so because they're stuck in bidding wars for players who might not be the kind of players that Curt Cignetti has identified. That Curt Cignetti and his staff have identified a type of player. Do you know what he says? This is like right out of Curt Cignetti's mouth. He says, we value production over potential. That's why they're all so old.
Right.
Because he doesn't go after 5 stars.
Okay.
They didn't have a single 5-star prospect on their roster. He went after guys who had 1,000 yards in the Sun Belt. He went after guys who had 99 tackles in the MAC. He said, we believe so much in our systems and in our coaching and in our development that we need guys who know how to play. We set them up in the right position. Because I've told you all season long, you watch Indiana get off the bus, they don't look like the national champions. The money is spent on the 6'7", 345-pound left tackle who may or may not love football. But because he's 6'7", 345, 4 SEC teams are going to be backing up the regional bank and saying, like, we'll give you whatever you want and running the number up on each other. And that's why for Indiana, I don't think everything's a copycat league. I don't think you can replicate this. I really do not think that you can replicate the way that Indiana has gone about it. Now, did they have to spend a little more to re-up and retain some guys? Yeah. But, you just think about the way that this, like Fernando Mendoza was not the top ranked quarterback in the transfer portal class.
Right. He was not.
They didn't get in a huge bidding war over him. Roman Himby's from Maryland. He's a fine player, but Elijah Surratt, Mikhail Kamara, who had the block punt, D'Angelo Pons, who had a terrific game. Those are JMU guys.
Right.
And not only JMU guys, but like Mikhail Kamara separated 2 shoulders early in his career. These are just this team. They're warriors. They're different.
Yeah.
Even Indiana football fans, I think, might not know how good they have it. And they don't need to have that cold shower right now. They deserve to be able to continue to bask in this for a while. The program that until November was the losingest program in all of college football. Like, I think that this team was truly special because of their connectiveness and because of all of their various paths. They were the island of misfit toys, and they came together to put together a perfect 16-0 season. We're not being hyperbolic. It's one of the most amazing stories in all of sports, but this method in particular cannot be copied.
I'm looking forward to what's next.
Cignetti's 64.
I know.
I'm not going to comment on somebody's hair color as somebody who's got a mop full of gray right now, but don't let it fool you. The guy is 64 years old. This whole operation is mature. They do not waste a second. They do not waste a cent. They're just a little bit of a machine.
Yeah.
And look, at some point, 64-year-olds are going to become 70-year-olds, and 70-year-olds are going to become, 72-year-olds, and we'll see how much more success can happen right there. But man, it is an awesome story, and I think that it is not something that will be easily replicated.
Oh, I agreed wholeheartedly. It is. There's no real comparison for it anywhere. You can find it in basketball, but man, I just don't think there's any direct. Oh yeah, this is that. We've all come up with our own theories. Depending on what happens going forward, I've said Gonzaga. You can use Butler, another school from the state of Indiana. They had a 2-year back-to-back turn at attempting to win a national championship. Lost both games. Could have beaten Duke. I mean, that ball looked like it was very much online. It was online, just a shade long. But look, it is incredible. I want to ask you about a specific play from the game, which obviously changed the game. So I have often thought that schools or coaching staffs in college overthink things. Do you think that we will now get rid of the rugby-style punt? Because
No, I think if 87 gives more than a chicken wing of effort,
still 5 steps to punt the ball is asking for trouble. What happened to catching the snap, taking a step, and punting the ball? That seems more efficient to me.
Did you know about the Miami should have jumped off sides on 2nd and 1 with less than 2 minutes left theory?
Oh, I've seen that happen in the NFL before.
Yeah. There's a lot to pick apart in a game that, like you said, is truly determined at the margins. But Miami special team execution errors, I mean, those are
the margins.
That's kind of been a little bit of a problem, for it. Mario Cristobal has found himself an offensive coordinator who he can trust, a defensive coordinator who he can trust. The game management has improved since not taking a knee, but there's still some stuff around the edges where, I mean, look, this was a success story season for the Miami Hurricanes. And so, as we started this conversation with Darian Mensah, I don't think they're going anywhere, No,
I think they'll be fine. They did lose Malachi Toney, though.
To the portal?
I believe so. Unless I was duped by an AI Twitter bot. I thought I saw that Malachi Toney entered the portal. Maybe I did not. Maybe I was duped. But that guy is a big time player, and he's to me he's a Miami player too, right? He looks like his last name should be Moss.
Well, he's from Liberty City. He's right there in the did you see the photo of young Malachi Toney with Mark Richt at an old Miami football camp when Richt was the coach?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so I mean he's grown up loving the U.
All right, by the way, it was a rumor, unfounded. Mom put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, that would be a
huge blow.
Well, I mean, it would not fit with everything that I've known, heard, talked to, written about, like this Miami team. It's not like they are not just accumulating talent. They're accumulating talent that wants to be there. And so that would be surprising if Malachi Toney left. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what the sophomore season looks like after he was the best freshman in America.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Miami starts next year as the face of the ACC after being the national runner-up and the team to beat. And then we'll sort of see all the different pieces that come after that. There'll be a lot of buzz about James Franklin at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Everyone will be excited about that. SMU and Louisville clearly not going anywhere. But it'll be fascinating up at the top of the conference.
It's all about what Clemson and Florida State become. Right?
Well, I mean, I have low expectations regardless of program standard for Florida State.
Okay.
I think for Clemson, it is. I had this conversation with the Clemson graduate last week at Salvation Army basketball practice for 5 and 6 year olds. Where all the good information is shared when it comes to college football. And we were talking about. I was like, I think that there was a time where Clemson was just fine, right?
Right.
They were very rarely bad.
Yep.
But they weren't competing for championships. And that what we might see with the Clemson Tigers is an adjustment to that level, right? Where they are just they're a good ACC football program. Just not one that's competing for national titles on the biggest stages.
Well, maybe that's who they are, but that's not who they want to be. That's not who Dabo Swinney wants to be. And by the way, their non-conference schedule next year involves a trip to LSU as well as South Carolina. Miami's non-conference schedule, the only difficult game is at Notre Dame. That's a difficult game. And they will play 9 conference games. Clemson will play, I think, 2. I don't know. It's the dumbest. The ACC is so dumb when it comes to the schedules, but we'll talk about that another time. Chip Patterson, this has been a great college football run. We'll start working other things into our weekly conversations. I am looking forward to them every week. I appreciate your time.
Stay safe, stay warm.
That's right. Well. Thank you. And keep the power on. I'll talk to you later. All right, when we come back, we got to stretch. We got to place bets. Looking forward to that. I gave you a winner yesterday. I gave you State and the over. That cashed.
Yeah, I gave some hockey winners.
You did you?
Yeah.
I didn't win any of the others, but I won that one. And that's all that matters. I just got to give you, I just got to give you one. All right, next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We are kicking on to playoff mode in the National Football League. What do you mean kicking on? We have been kicked on already for 2 weeks. And remember, FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost pack for every NFL playoff game day. During the championship round, you can find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. And it is the greatest app known to sports wagering ever. More boosts means you get to create more value in whatever you like. FanDuel.com/local, FanDuel.com/local. Grab your profit boost pack today. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land loss by the year 2040. Together we can protect our family farms even as North Carolina's population continues to grow. Learn more about preserving your family farm at the Southern Farm Show in Raleigh, February 4th through the 6th by visiting the booth for the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And see more at ncadfp.org.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshIIP.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Sometimes the simplest steps make the biggest difference. Washing your hands often, staying home when you're sick, and talking with your health provider about vaccines.
Help keep your family protected against the flu, RSV, and COVID. Simple steps, big protection.
Defend yourself. Get vaccinated to protect you and your family from respiratory illnesses this season. Visit myspot.nc.gov to find yours today.
Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach.
That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
I have his jersey.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you have any other jerseys or just a Jake Delhomme?
I got so many.
Do you really?
I go all the way back from Tim Biakabatuka.
Wow.
Yes. Cam, Luke, obviously, Smitty. So, yeah, I've got multiple. 6 or 7, maybe?
6, 7?
6, 7? 6, 7?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We're going to place bets in just a minute. Next hour, should North Carolina leave the Smith Center and build an arena off campus? Is that really a consideration? I think it's probably more a threat than anything else. We'll see. But we'll talk to Brian Murphy from WRAL News about that coming up. Next hour, 25 minutes from now, right now, it is the 7th inning stretch. That was easy for me to say.
It's okay. Like you said, there's a lot going on today. But there's not a lot going on for LeBron James when it comes to the NBA All-Star Game, unfortunately for him.
Did he miss out?
Yes, for the first time in 21 years, LeBron James has not been named to the starting team for the NBA All-Star
Well, that
game.
makes sense.
Yes. Up to now, he had been selected every single year since 2005. So think about that. However, like you mentioned, it's not really a surprise because LeBron missed the first 14 games of the Lakers season, so he didn't have a bunch of time on there.
Right.
But he also did end last month his streak of 1,297 consecutive games with at least 10 points. So that ended also. But
impressive.
There's still hope that he might make the team because the reserves will be announced February 1st. So I guess technically he could still be on it, but he is not a starter. So there you go. And let's see here. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was second in line there with 19. And then Kobe, RIP, Bryant, was third with 18. So consecutive starts to an All-Star game. So there you go. We'll see how that one goes if you're interested in the NBA All-Stars. So LeBron may or may not be involved with that one.
When is I have no idea. I have not watched. I watched some NBA early in the season, and then now there's too many things going on.
Yes.
I can't. My head's spinning.
I think you were going to ask when the game is, and that's February 15th. So there you go. Well, that'll be around the corner. But there's also
I'll have
this
dug out from the
game.
snow by then.
Yeah, there's also this little football game that's supposed to be happening like the week before. So most people are focused on that one right now. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But until then, we got to place some bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, I gave you the winner last night, State and the over. That was plus 325. So don't hate me for the two losses.
No, you're good. See,
San Jose did not beat Tampa.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the one where I did pick Tampa, but I took the over, so that didn't pay out. But I did take the Sabres in Nashville taking on those Preds. So that plus 110 if you took that one.
Buffalo's good.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm glad that they weren't good enough to beat our Canes, though. But tonight we've got the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Colorado Avalanche in Colorado. So give me the Avs to win that one. A lot of former Canes there. And I will take the over 6.5 plus 120.
I'm going the other way.
Oh, look at that. This never happened.
I like the Ducks to win in Colorado plus 245. I'm not going to need. There's enough value there. We don't need to then tie ourselves to the score. But if you wanted to go under, it's plus 510, but I just think plus 245 is enough.
That's good enough. Well, the Flyers will be in Utah taking on the Mammoth. Not plural.
Right.
Only one mammoth, not mammoths. So give me the Utah Mammoth to get a win. And I will go with, why not, the under 5.5. That's plus 220.
All right. So what North Carolina team is going to show up tonight? Are the real North Carolina Tar Heels going to show up tonight?
Oh, I thought you were doing a Slim Shady thing right here. Will the real Tar Heels stand up?
We need to see some better defense than we have seen. Tar Heels are playing Notre Dame. This is a game where they should throttle the Irish. So give me North Carolina minus the 13.5. Under 148.5. That's plus 237.
Nice. Well, New York Islanders will be in Seattle taking on the Kraken, also plucky. So give me Seattle to beat the Islanders because, we don't hate to see that here. And I will take the under 5.5 plus 260.
All right. You know that I am a Liverpool fan. It's been an interesting run for Liverpool. They are, as they will tell you, unbeaten in 12 matches in all competitions in their last 12 matches. Of course, too many of those matches are against teams that they should easily beat, that all they did was draw with. They are away to Marseille in Champions League action today, and they will not win.
Oh,
They will not win. Marseille wins it, plus 250, and then we'll have even more barking from Liverpool Premier League spoiled fans.
Oh, I thought you might.
No.
I thought you might go with a draw.
No.
Like a draw.
No, I mean, sort of take it, but I think they lose at Marseille. They have not had a good season. All right, when we come back, we'll do the Wall of Sound, that's for sure. But also, in addition to that, Brian Murphy from WRAL Sports Investigative Reporting fame will talk to us about where the Tar Heels' next home might be. Next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We are finally here. We are at the Conference Championship Sunday, and FanDuel is ready. A profit boost pack was available for every NFL playoff game day, and Sunday definitely qualifies. How about the Broncos plus money at home in the Conference Championship round? Unbelievable. Seattle is minus 2.5 points over the Rams. That should be an absolute great game. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Profit boost pack for every NFL playoff game day. Enjoy. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. Covenant House is the national leader providing safe housing for youth, 50 years strong. Help us fight youth homelessness. Go to covenanthouse.org.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%, lowest in years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and some car loans and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now and see what option works best for you. But don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. Call 919-381-1760 now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
When you're not seeing many shots and you're seeing grade A shots, when you see shots, it takes a particular mindset to be able to flourish, because that's very challenging for a goaltender mentally and physically. So for him to make the saves that he did, and spectacular saves that he made look somewhat routine, no surprise element, no lucky element to it, I would consider it to be his best performance so far. Now, that would be very subjective, that would be very debatable, but that's how I viewed yesterday afternoon.
Oh, the one and only Trip Tracy from yesterday's program. Looking forward to, we haven't talked Canes at all today. I mean, it's an off day. Didn't have a game last night, don't have a game tonight. Canes practice today. Eric Robinson out and will be out for an extended period of time. He was at practice but wearing a sling on his, I don't know which shoulder it was, but it was clearly a shoulder injury. Rasmus Dahlin, as Tripp said yesterday, thought that was a penalizing situation, that he came from considerable distance. Play was over. And, it's routine in the NHL to, when somebody is around the crease after the whistle is blown, you give one more shot. I'm not complaining about that at all. See it every day, every game. But to skate from as far away as Rasmus Dahlin was, I get it. I get where Tripp's coming from there.
Yeah.
There
it's
were
a little dirty.
Here's what's interesting about the game yesterday, 2 days ago. The goal that Carolina scored in the third period that ultimately won the game, the Seth Jarvis power play goal. If it were me, I don't think that's a penalty on Owen Power. I mean, a little nudge in the lower back, and Logan Stankoven lost his balance and went into the net. But to me, that's penalizing the result more than it's penalizing the act. I don't think there's a penalty there. I think it just so happened that Stankoven lost his balance, and I'm glad he's okay because he was at practice today, and he came back into the game. It didn't look good initially, but I'm not sure that's a penalty. And I don't know that they had to call the Svechnikov issue behind the play that led to a Dahlin chance, and then Dahlin and Svechnikov each went off for matching minors. Like, sometimes I think we call too many penalties. Not just hockey, but in all sports. And I'm not doing the let them play, let them settle it on the ice. That's not it. I just think sometimes if there really is no advantage gained, unless it's egregious, nah, let's play. I think everybody would be better off with more even strength hockey, fewer flags in football, things like that. All right, it's time for the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, after it hadn't been a lot of losses in a row, it had been just one loss in a row for NC State, but it was a loss to a very, very poor team. It was a quad 3 loss at home to Georgia Tech. What? How did you do that? Then you go on the road to Clemson, a top 20 team who had yet to lose in conference play, and Will Wade's team got a win.
That's a little bit of a relief because we I didn't know if we had it in us or not, if I'm being truthful. So, it was good to see us have that in us and play with some poise and execute in a tough environment. So it was good for us to do that.
He sounds in some ways beaten already. Come on, Will. Let's go. Let's get back up.
As a player, wouldn't you hear that and be like, he's got no faith in us whatsoever?
Well, it's good to hear, man. They finally, I didn't think we had it in us.
I didn't think they could do it.
Yeah, good for them. Yeah, look, I still think it's a good team. It's tough sometimes. You got a new coach, a lot of new players. It's tough to make it all work. I think they'll be good. I think they'll be fine, but they have to develop some level of consistency in terms of their performance and effort. So far, that hasn't always been there. But here's where I think is exciting. If you are a State fan, I don't know if past State fans win this game. In the margins is where State was really good. Didn't turn it over. Made your free throws. In fact, free throws were paramount because they didn't score a bucket in the last 8.5 minutes of regulation. It's hard to win that way.
Yeah, look, we got good looks down the stretch. We got the foul when Darian drove it. That was a great look at the end of the game, to try to win it. And so we got good looks. We made our free throws in the last 8 minutes. But, look, they're a tremendous defense, tremendous team, tremendous coaching. They don't beat themselves. They're extremely disciplined. So I thought that, they've been holding teams in the ACC to 61 points a game. So, every basket they scored felt like 4 points because you got to make it up. And so I thought that I thought the end of the first half we didn't execute very well, and we left some stuff on the table there. But I thought that just being able to score and get the looks that we got was important tonight. I wasn't sure we'd be able to generate the looks that we got tonight.
I love Will. All right, one more thing. Van Allen Lubin, 22 points, 6 rebounds, no turnovers.
Van was tremendous. He's just so rock solid for us. He's the one guy that's really reliable and dependable night in and night out. And for him to play so well today, he's just so efficient. 9 out of 12, I believe, from the field. Yeah, 9 out of 12. The 2 free throws were huge. Pressure free throws. Bouncing back from, Georgia Tech, we missed quite a few free throws in our 6-minute game, and we bounced back and made them tonight. So Vin's been just rock solid for us all season.
All right, I love college basketball. I love the fact that we have microphones near the coaches' huddle. So I saw this on social media last night. Apparently, Tom Izzo was unhappy with one of his players' defensive effort.
You can't guard my mother.
You can't guard my mother.
Who I think is like 99 years old.
98.
98.
That's bad defense.
Yeah.
We should all be able to guard Tom Izzo's mother. I can guarantee you this. She ain't scoring on me.
No. I mean, you're going to be busy, like, being a quarterback for Duke, but...
That's true. I am busy.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, Saturday. Did you see any of the Buffalo Bills, Brandon Beane, Terry Pagula press conference today?
Oh, no, I did not. Oh, boy.
For people who haven't seen it, maybe on Twitter or if you on TV or whatever. So Brandon Beane, the general manager of the Bills, was elevated. He got a promotion. He's now team president, not just GM. Sean McDermott fired. So the owner, Terry Pagula, is there at the press conference, and they ask a question. I don't even know what the question is, but Terry Pagula basically says that, Brandon Beane, he didn't want Keon Coleman. He was just a team player. That was the coaching staff that wanted Keon Coleman. I'm assuming the question was about Keon Coleman. Meanwhile, Keon Coleman just minded his own business, catching strays here.
Complete strays.
Right? To be honest, Keon Coleman isn't that good. He's okay. He's an NFL player.
Yeah.
He's a roster player in the NFL, but I don't think he's great.
Very meh.
And he was the player that they took after the Panthers took Xavier Legette. Remember, they traded up with Buffalo into the last pick of the first round to take Xavier Legette, and Buffalo, with the first pick of the second round, took Keon Coleman. Frankly, neither of them were very good. But either way, Keon Coleman didn't ask for that. Anyway, Jeff, Saturday from ESPN on the Brandon Beane promotion.
To me, the NFL is just in disarray. I think what Buffalo did was a freaking joke. The McDermott thing, whether you love him or hate him, whatever, okay, you fire him. But to promote a guy who was responsible for the roster, that to me is an absolute joke. And I'm sure Buffalo Bills fans are furious with that. I would be as a fan. When you just start firing guys who are in the divisional playoffs year after year and are winning playoff games year after year, who takes that job and improves it right away? The only way you improve it is to win the Super Bowl. The roster he had this year, no chance you're winning the Super Bowl.
Okay, that was just a walking contradiction. McDermott is responsible for the roster too. So, whatever. All right, one more thing before we break. Rory McIlroy is always a good quote. Always a good quote. So, you may recall that Brooks Koepka has basically dissolved his contract at LIV. He is back on the PGA Tour. He's going to pay it's a $5 million fine that goes to charity. And then there is other monies that he relinquishes rights to. Well, John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton, who are both big members of the European Ryder Cup side that won at Bethpage in New York this past September, they can't play DP World Tour events right now until they pay a fine. Much like if you play in competing events on the PGA Tour or with PGA Tour, you play in an event that competes with the PGA Tour event without permission, it's a fine. Same goes for the DP World Tour, which is the European Tour. And those two guys who have earned a lot of money at LIV have refused to this point to pay those fines. Now, last year at the Ryder Cup, which is the European team is run by the European Tour, there was litigation which basically said, which delayed any sanctions. So they were able to play for Team Europe before any decision was made. Well, we have another year and a half before the next Ryder Cup, and Rory McIlroy, who wants those two guys on the team, simply wants them to pay the fine.
Rory, just in terms of the Ryder Cup, would it just be easier for Rahm and Hatton to pay their fines? They could probably afford it.
Yeah, absolutely. My thing is, look, this is my opinion. We went really hard on the Americans last year about wanting paid to play the Ryder Cup. And we all sat up there and said that we would pay to play in Ryder Cups. there's two guys that can prove it. Right? Like that's, yeah.
Wow. That's from the top rope, Rory McIlroy.
Yes.
I mean, he's right.
He's fun.
The fines are not. Based on what those two guys made from the public investment fund of Saudi Arabia to play on that tour, those guys can afford the fine. It's about, for them, not wanting to pay it. That's it. All right, when we come back, Brian Murphy, WRAL TV5 and sports investigative reporter. Where the Tar Heels going to play? Are they going to stay at the Smith Center? Are they going to renovate it? Are they going to move to a Cracker Barrel on I-85? No idea. Maybe Brian knows. We'll talk to him next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Finally.
Yes, finally. There's an app for 99.9 The Fan.
Finally!
Listen to your favorite hosts, your teams, and live sports action.
Touchdown, Philadelphia! They're destroying the Chiefs!
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Pondering prizes with Cash Pop? Why pick just one pop when you can pick as many pops as you please? Up to 15. Picture this. You pick your pop, perhaps a powerful 7. Now pick more pops like a proud 9, a pristine 15, a perfect 10. Each pop propagates more potential to pack your pockets with prizes up to $2,500. So prepare for a peppering of prizes with Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Cash Pop. Play more pops. Win more prizes. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds charts at nclottery.com. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
I am here with Patrick Day of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I'm on your website. Gutter helmets right on the front of the website. Do you have a gutter helmet to fit my head? I have a small head.
We have a gutter helmet for every head, Adam. So anyhow, if you give us a call, we'll come out and take a look at your windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, and of course we can do the gutter helmet. We have financing programs that are really good. So we have like 12 months with 0 payments for 12 months. You don't have to pay anything. So if you're thinking about home improvements and you're thinking you're saving up for it, just come on and see us and we'll go ahead and get you set up and get your project done and you can pay in 12 months from now.
I feel like you're speaking directly to me. If it's for the exterior of your home, there is no better place than the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online, aluminumcompany.com. Siding, roofing, windows, entry doors, storm doors, and the world-famous gutter helmets. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 1-800-672-4348.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
My Lowe's Pro Rewards members go big during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get member volume discounts plus an extra 5% off eligible orders with a quote of $2,000 or more. Plus, buy more and save more with up to 25% off DWV pipes when you spend $250 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 123. Exclusions, more terms and restrictions apply. Can't be combined with any contract or special pricing. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show.
See what I did there?
I love it. Absolutely love it. I am a fan of North Carolina staying exactly where they are. I talked about this yesterday. There's got to be a way, considering that the Smith Center isn't necessarily used for, anything else that we can only have it there. I'm sure that there are other events, certainly graduation, right, at the Smith Center. But for the most part, every event that they have there can be had somewhere else. And to an extent, so can men's basketball. They could play men's basketball for a year at Carmichael. Wouldn't be ideal. You would obviously lose a ton of seating capacity. But I feel like that can be mitigated over the course of a season. It will be painful for some, but the end game is, can Carolina simply renovate the Smith Center and stay there? Which is honestly, to me, it isn't even about the, it's not even about the, being at the Smith Center as much as it's being on campus. It's about being on campus, not the Smith Center. So that to me is what they should do. They should stay on campus. I just don't know where else on North Carolina's campus you can have an arena. I mean, I'm not super familiar with every piece of real estate. I guess on the other side of 54, you might be able to build an arena, and that's sort of on campus, but it's not where it is. It's not in amongst the dorms. It's not, across the street basically from the football stadium. It's just a very, very difficult thing. Anyway, that to me is where I believe they belong. They belong on campus. And yes, I know NC State's arena isn't necessarily on campus, but it's right across the street from the football stadium. So it does seem like a little bit better. Anyway, but it is a dilemma. It is a debate, and there's an ad campaign going on right now for to keep, Roy Williams, Tyler Hansbrough, others have publicly talked about, staying at the Smith Center, just renovating that building. I mean, it does seem like it's been kind of outdated for a long time. But let's talk to Brian Murphy, WRAL sports investigative reporter, about this. So let's dig into this. So tell me where we are with, and you can explain what Carolina North is to me as well throughout this, but where are we with Smith Center, renovate, move off campus? What's going on there?
Yeah, we're in a big holding pattern. I mean, this is something they've been talking about for a decade now, and it seemed like they were making progress to putting it at Carolina North, which is, just up MLK, about a mile and a half from Franklin Street and main campus. And they just announced today, I'm at the UNC Board of Trustees meeting in Chapel Hill, that they are going to build that campus. They're going to put student housing, academic buildings, research, retail, you name it. It's going to be a campus. And for a while, it looked like that's where they were going to announce that they were going to put the new basketball arena for reasons we can certainly get into. But there's been a huge pushback. You've seen Roy Williams put out a video, Tyler Hansford put out a video. And so they have delayed that process. They've now created 2 more study committees, one for basketball, one for students, to get more feedback on this issue. And so I don't think a decision is imminent at any point. However, I spoke with Lee Roberts, the chancellor, yesterday, and he told me the status quo doesn't work. They're going to have to invest. The number I was given today is $150 million to just getting the Smith Center up to par,
right?
Fixing the leaky roof, everything else. So, the longer they wait, the more that costs, and probably the more a new arena costs.
Brian Murphy is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So, what are the constraints with simply renovating that building? I think it's more important that they stay on campus than they, specifically stay in that building. But what are the constraints about simply spending the money and renovating the Smith Center?
Yeah, I think the biggest constraints are, one, money. It's a little easier to raise money for a new building than it is to raise money to renovate a building. But that aside, this is all about revenue generation, right? You're at a time where North Carolina's athletics budget is getting close to $200 million,
right.
Needs to keep rising. Well, you don't have suites. You don't have club levels. You don't have the type of high-end seats that generate a lot of revenue there.
Right.
It's also difficult for them to hold concerts there, in part because of its location on campus. There's not a ton of parking. And then how do you solve both the parking and the traffic issue that happens at Smith Center? Right, because you're constrained on campus. This is why the thought is, if you put it at a different place, especially, and Lee Roberts talked to me about this specifically. I said, what are the advantages of Carolina North? And one of the things he said is, well, you'd have a place to get a pregame meal or a postgame beer. And that would, by very definition, eliminate sort of the bottleneck of everybody coming at the same time and leaving at the same time.
Right.
Plus, you'd be able to build a parking, a way that people could park and come and go. You could generate more revenue, even if the stadium was a little bit smaller, and maybe have a better home court advantage. It's a very complicated issue, and I understand, as someone who was a student here, I understand the tradition of going to the Smith Center and walking there. But on the other hand, you see, I make this point a lot, athletics is really about real estate, and they can make a lot more money in a new arena than they can make in the Smith Center, even if they spent, $800 million or $400 million, whatever it would be, to fix it up.
Brian Murphy is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. The building has been basically outdated for 20 years. Almost like when they first, it was like 10 years after they first opened it, it was outdated. There have been suites in arenas for 30 years, but there don't seem to be any. There weren't any at the Smith Center. But those things can also be handled through renovating that building. They're renovating the Lenovo Center, obviously bigger scale, all of that, and they're doing it while the Hurricanes and NC State and concerts and the circus and monster trucks are still there. They're trying to do it at the same time, but surely that has to be some sort of an option.
Yeah, it is. There's another issue of and this is a little bit predates me, but the people who bought those tickets to help fundraise to build the Smith Center, they get to keep those tickets forever. So what happens to those seats if you want to take some of those seats out and put in more higher level club seats or suites or all that stuff? I think there's just a lot of complications.
That happens everywhere.
Yeah, the response you'll hear is, well, Cameron Indoor Stadium doesn't have suites necessarily.
Right, they don't
have club seats. And Duke basketball seems to be doing just fine. So there are there are great arguments back and forth, but I think, from a revenue generating standpoint, and that's how these decisions often get made, the thought is that a new arena could generate, even if it were smaller, it had fewer seats, could generate more revenue and sort of satisfy the needs better than renovating the Smith Center. But, when Roy Williams says that Dean Smith told him that they can't move off campus, so that is tough to fight against. How are you going to raise money when you're like against Roy Williams and Tyler Hansborough?
Especially
that is
the
not an
music.
easy task.
If you watch that video, the music that they use underneath, man, it's like you're walking into a funeral home. Here's the first of all, let me ask you the question about Carolina North. Is that on campus or is it just off campus?
Well, I mean, they want to make it a campus. I mean, they want to. It is off.
Oh, it's extending campus.
Yeah, you would say it is off campus. It is about a mile and a half up MLK, which runs right into Franklin Street. There'll be some dedicated bus lanes. I mean, truly, from Franklin Street, it's probably a shorter walk to Carolina North than it is to the current Smith Center.
Right.
But South Campus has long been integrated into campus, and so it feels like you're still on campus, even if you have to walk all the way, to the Smith Center. And it will take decades if they get Carolina North built for that to feel like campus.
Right, and it'll take a long time for that arena to be built. I don't know what the time frame is to renovate the Smith Center as opposed to building an entirely new arena. Real quick, two other things about this. One, let's just say they decide to renovate the Smith Center. Where would they play their games while they were doing that? If it took more than a year, would they play their games at Carmichael, which would obviously be a drastic reduction in seats? Would they play their games off campus? Could they play their games at Lenovo Center? I can't believe I said that out loud, but what would the contingency plan be to play the games?
I don't think they've gotten that far, but that was one of the conversations I had with a trustee today. It's like, do you play in Greensboro for 2 years? Do you play a couple games at Carmichael, a couple games at Lenovo, a couple games in Greensboro? Like, there's no real good answer. And as well as anyone, fitting another basketball team at Lenovo, it would be a real challenge given hockey season, all the concerts they want to have there, and NC State. So I'm not even sure that's a realistic option. Could you play a couple games at Carmichael, a couple games at Cameron? I mean, God forbid, I don't know.
Can't play at Cameron now because you're losing a lot more seats when you're playing at Cameron. But I do wonder this: could you play? We have a handful of games each year, maybe 3. Where basketball plays and then there's a hockey game later. All right, if you eliminated those, and I think those are relatively easily eliminated, you could just have State, Carolina doubleheaders. They used to do that at Madison Square Garden all the time. Sure. College basketball doubleheaders. That would actually be, if I could use the term, freaking cool to do something like that.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine Carolina would get all the bad times, right? They'd play at 11 a.m. and then State would play at night. But
8 in the morning.
If you're truly the State's team, which I think Carolina would make that argument, can you go play in Wilmington? Can you go play in Greensboro? Can you play in Asheville? Can you play in Charlotte? And say, hey, this is your team, the State's team. You've supported it for so long, for the next year and a half or whatever, 2 years. We're gonna go barnstorming, basically. It's not ideal from a competitive standpoint, but it might be good from building a fan base standpoint.
Maybe. I've argued that State and Carolina, it's okay for them to play football games against each other in Charlotte. It just doesn't always have to be here. I'm not even fighting that fight, but they did play some games against each other in Charlotte. That's really all I had. Real quick, do you have any update, anything interesting about Duke v. Mensa, et al.?
Well, what's really interesting to me is Duke's Mensa's attorney said that that Duke was denied the temporary restraining order.
Right.
And now Duke is saying, no, we won the temporary restraining order. So it's very confusing, but I think it was sort of a split decision. They said Mensa can get in the transfer portal, but he can't enroll in another school and can't play football at another school yet. Now. And so I don't really know what the benefit of being able to get in the portal is if you can't go to another school. But this is going to be a mess. If they don't come to some sort of settlement, this may get heard in court. Mensa's contract is already now part of the legal filing, so you can see what's in it, although it is heavily redacted. In some ways, good for Duke taking a stand, but I don't know what the ramifications are going to be for Duke when it comes to other players.
Yep,
are they going to get a reputation? I mean, it's a really fascinating case.
Yeah, fascinating. And like as you said, like I said this yesterday, Brian, if I were Duke, I would just let it go because down the road, it might enable you to get more players. But, they were left. I mean, if Mensa had followed some basic rules about this, some basic timing rules about this, and there was plenty of time, if he had given them, with a week left in the portal, if he had given them a heads up, hey, Miami has come to me and they want, like I can't turn this down, Duke. If they had done that, maybe the Blue Devils go out into the portal and there's somebody that they could get that would allow them to just keep moving forward. But, man, this is I don't know how he goes back there. I don't know if he can.
Yeah. If I'm reading the contract right, that the most damages Duke could get is $4 million or roughly whatever he was being paid. Like that seems like kind of a small amount to go through all of this. And on the other hand, there is no way Darian Mensah, a judge is going to say, Darian Mensah, you have to attend Duke next year.
Right.
Like he might not let him play football at Miami or wherever, but there's no way he's going to say you have to stay enrolled at Duke. That's not something that a judge would ever do.
Correct. Yeah, and he can go to school wherever he wants. There's no way anybody could stop him from if he really wants to go to Miami because it's a great institution and it is a good school actually. He is free to go there, but he might not be able to. Well, I guess he could walk on and play football. I don't know, but he can't tap into NIL money because Duke owns his NIL rights, which the whole thing, it's the grant of rights all over again. Brian, it's what it is to me. Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter at Murph's Turf on Twitter. Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Adam.
All right, when we come back, a rewind, talk a little bit about the Carolina Hurricanes and some interesting kind of not real rumors about the Hurricanes, but players who are maybe suddenly available? Next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Seniors, know your rights when looking for new housing. Licensed adult care homes come with rights to quality care, oversight, and a long-term care ombudsman to advocate for you. In registered multi-unit assisted housing, services are arranged separately, and you could have fewer care-related rights. For more information, contact your regional ombudsman today, because knowing your rights means protecting your future. Go to ncdhhs.gov/contactnc for more information. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land loss by the year 2040. Together we can protect our family farms even as North Carolina's population continues to grow. Learn more about preserving your family farm at the Southern Farm Show in Raleigh, February 4th through the 6th by visiting the booth for the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And see more at ncadfp.org.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. If you're struggling with mental health, you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. LoveYourMindToday.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time. If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need, because most people out here really care. Visit LoveYourMindToday.org. That's LoveYourMindToday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We'll go into a rewind, talk a little bit about Darian Mensah, also get Chip's take on the national championship game. That would be Chip Patterson. But we're getting down to the final couple of weeks before the NHL goes silent for 3 weeks for the Olympic tournament. Still not 100% sure that they have a suitable arena for the Olympic tournament. Not going to lie, that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of a thing.
It's going to sneak up on us.
I mean, what is today's date? The 20th? 21st?
21st, yes.
So the NHL shuts down it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Hurricanes have a game Thursday and Saturday. Then they're Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then they're done until the end of February. For 3 weeks, we will have Olympic hockey. So the league is kind of dark for a few days before the tournament starts and a few days after the tournament ends. So 3 weeks, no NHL. And during not that entire time, I believe, but for the bulk of it, there is a trade freeze. So you saw Vegas, the Golden Knights, swing a trade. I think Vegas and Florida are the only two teams that make massive trades. But Vegas, although Carolina did last year with Rantanen, of course, and the year before with Jake Edsel. So I'm wrong. But Vegas swung the trade with Calgary for Rasmus Andersson, defenseman. And in 2 weeks, everything stops. Law league business ends, or it's on pause. And people have already asked a lot of questions about what can they do, who are they going to go after. And I personally don't think they'll make any moves in this 2 week period. I think they're trying to give themselves enough time to kind of really dig in and assess. And I think they've already done that. I don't think a lot will change over the next 2 weeks to decide what they need. I've told you what they need, in my opinion. They need an NHL goalie, the quality of whom will be determined really by how Freddie Anderson, who looks like will play tomorrow night against Chicago, and Brandon Bussey perform over the next 7 games. I think at the very least they need just somebody who can play in the NHL. And right now, I don't believe they believe Caden Primo can really do that. He played well for a stretch in Chicago, but his NHL experience the last couple of years have been very poor. And you're looking for, an emergency goalie in case Freddie gets hurt or Bussey gets hurt or both to start a playoff game for you. So regardless of like a specific name, at the very least they need that. The old, in my opinion, you always can use usable NHL defensemen. And while Joel Nystrom has been a great development, and Mike Riley is a very useful, when you're whole healthy, 7th defenseman, I would still add at least 1, maybe 2 depth NHL defensemen, preferably play the right side, but who can add a little bit of physicality to the lineup. Not that you would play over anybody, but if you're going to go into defenseman number 8 or 9, that you're bringing that element in. So for me, those 2 things for sure. But if you want to win a Stanley Cup, I've believed before and I believe now they need to be better at center. And as it turns out now, the Rangers have 2 players who I think are going to be available. One is a center, one is not. The center is Vincent Trocheck. Do I think Carolina would be interested in Vincent Trocheck? I don't know if the team would be interested in Vincent Trocheck. I know a certain head coach that would. In a heartbeat, would.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know that Eric Tulsky, Tom Dundon are. I know who is. I think he has influence. It would depend on the price. He's got 3 years left on a contract, I believe.
I think even the fans would be excited to see him back. Because every time we go up against the Rangers, we're like, oh, we miss him.
I love Vinny.
Yeah.
I love him as a player. Now, I don't think in Carolina, on Carolina's roster, I don't think he really fits what he checks a lot of boxes. Right-handed center, great defensively, can use in every situation, power play, penalty kill, all of that, wins faceoffs, great dude. He wouldn't have to be acclimated into the team. He's already friends, although his besties are all out. Pesci, Shea, D'Angelo. But everybody knows who, like, he and Aho would, like, Sebastian Aho would love to have Vincent Trocheck back in the locker room. But he's not super big. He's 5'10". Carolina's got a lot like Vincent Trocheck. Not as good as Vincent Trocheck. I don't know that he's a perfect number 2 center for this team. Not to mention what it would take to get him. Yes, the contract for 3 more years is very, very reasonable because it's under $6 million a year, which falls in line with the Jackson Blakes and Logan Stankoven contracts. What would it cost to get him? I don't know. That's a name to think about. Another name that I was surprised to see Carolina be linked with, and I don't really think they do it because of what it would cost in terms of it would have to cost the acquisition cost would be more than I think they're willing to spend. But is Artemi Panarin. We know what kind of an offensive weapon he is. And Panarin I think he plays the left side in New York. But what would a line of Stankoven, Panarin, Blake, It's small. Right now, you would never break up Aho and Svechnikov because of the chemistry that they have formed. And you've got Jarvis now on the other side of that line. But Panarin is an offensive talent that the Hurricanes do not possess. He would automatically walk into that locker room as the most skilled, dangerous forward in the room. Is that exactly what the team needs? Could I have both? Could I have Trocheck and Panarin? Because they play together in New York. Now, I don't know how that would work with Carolina. There would have to be a significant body out. And I don't know that Carolina is willing to part with a significant body out for this. But it is worth thinking about that now that these things are happening, we've got names that are associated with Carolina. We'll see. I don't think they'll sit with the team that they've got. I think they will try to make some improvements, try to get better. I don't think it'll be just on the fringes. I think they will try to add a significant piece. And just keep this in mind, and I'm not suggesting this will happen. But when they were hot in pursuit of Quinn Hughes, and apparently they were, Alexander Nikishin's name came up. Does it in that type of a deal? You make that deal. I don't know if they'd make it in. I don't think Nikishin would be in play for basically anybody else. Quinn Hughes is different. Of course, he plays the same position. All right, let's do a rewind. All right. Conor O'Neill, Devils Illustrated, covers Duke. He also covers State, or rather Wake. So I mentioned this with Chip Patterson because the courts who granted Duke a temporary restraining order, which basically says that Darian Mensah, the quarterback, cannot play for another school right now. Doesn't mean he can't transfer to another school, but he can't play with another school. But what if ultimately the decision by Mensah is, you know what, this is not worth it. Can I just come back and play at Duke? I asked Conor O'Neill if there's a sense that the players are cool with it.
I don't think so. Look, this is a team that was built around repeating as ACC champs and not being 1-3 in the non-con again and playing for the CFP. Like, you kind of lose track of, okay, if this team actually beats Illinois and doesn't shoot itself in the foot 18 times in that game, or if this team actually plays semi-decent defense in the first half at Tulane, they might be a CFP team as an ACC champ, and we might not be talking about Miami being the runner-up. So all of what Duke did in 2 weeks while the transfer portal was open was built around having a star quarterback returning and putting pieces around him to be able to not only win 9 games and squeak into the ACC championship on a tiebreaker crazy scenario. It was to have a dominant season and maybe the best season of Duke football ever, at least in the modern era. And you never want to say that one guy is more important than the entire team, but that one guy is the most important part of the entire team. I don't think anybody's arguing that about the quarterback position in college football in 2026.
Right. All right, so I just want to clarify this. My setup of the spot was sort of convoluted. I believe Conor O'Neill is saying that the players would be fine. They're not against a return of Darian Mensah as individual players. Now, I think I got that right. Whether or not you can rebuild trust with the coach and an offensive coordinator, if it's just about money, then you might be able to rebuild that trust. But if it's about Miami can not only pay me more, but Miami gives me a better chance to play At the next level, that's a different story altogether. A different story altogether. All right, now, sticking with Conor O'Neill. If Mensa decides this, like, how does he come back? Could he even come back to Duke?
A hell of a mea culpa. I mean, I don't see any other way. And maybe there's a 0.5% chance that even enters the equation here. I mean, he's gone. He does not want to play for Duke. He wants to play for Miami. I don't even know if you can call it the worst kept secret in college football that he's bound for Miami, because Miami's literally the only program without a starting quarterback lined up next year that would be paying for a quarterback of his caliber.
Right.
And then you throw in the fact that, in the off-season weight program, they show up on Saturday mornings and lift at Duke. And on Saturday morning, there was a post from the strength and conditioning coach, David Feely, of a team picture. And I didn't go through and count the faces in the picture, but there were quite a lot of college football players posing in it. And it was quote tweeted a couple times by players that, one of them, I think Nick Morris Jr. was the one who said it's indestructible culture. So it gives you a little bit of a peek into it. I mean, we're not going to get any of those players on the record to tell us,
right,
yeah, we hate that guy. We can't wait to play him in South Beach in October, November next year.
Yep.
But you get the feeling of how they feel about what went down in the last 4 or 5 days.
I mean, it's terrible. It's bad for Duke. Honestly, it's bad for Darian Mensah, too, because when he gets to Miami and when he eventually does play, it's going to be a minute before a broadcaster doesn't bring up, yeah, he was Duke's quarterback last year, and then at the last second entered the transfer portal, breaching a contract that paid him $4 million in year one and was supposed to pay him $4 million in year two, leaving Duke with, a mannequin, a Belk mannequin as their quarterback. It's going to be hard for Mensa to get past that. But that's life in professional sports, which is what we've got. Victoria, thank you very much. We'll see everybody tomorrow on The Adam Gold Show.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
He scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Conference championship weekend, maybe the finest weekend of NFL football, and all customers can get a profit boost back every NFL